I woke up feeling like I really don't belong. I can't explain it. When I close my eyes, I see a strange reality. Am I dreaming, or on the edge of remembering? You wake up feeling like you really don't belong. You can't explain it, that when you close your eyes you see familiarity. Are you dreaming, or on the edge of remembering? Okay, hello. Okie dokie. I'm gonna have a cookie because I have a fresh cup of tea. And it's 89 degrees. It's shrinking.
still a lot of water in there, but that's also a lot of wool. I think I use a sip of tea. It's hot. So I'm really psyched about this project because of its form. Getting nice and ripply. Put this in a smaller piece, a little easier to handle. Oops, sorry about that. I moved the microphone closer because I'm so quiet. But that means I'm going to hit it more often. Just taking a carb break. I need carbs to keep doing this. In the form of a lemon shortbread cookie. And Irish breakfast tea. You know, with caffeine. And the more you do this, the tighter the belt gets. I got such a great effect on that little one I did, little vessel. Have to try that on a larger scale. I went right off. Let's rewind. Distracted by cookie. It's all repetition. Oh. I wonder if this will eventually fix flabby arms. Wouldn't that be a joy? Only an art that gives you a physical benefit. I'll gently again, any excess water we can push out. A little bit. Good. You can feel the resist starting to crinkle up inside as this is shrinking. I take the resist out, it's going to shrink even more. But I want to make sure everything is filtered well enough so I work it afterward. It doesn't meld to itself or filter to itself. No, I'm in a whisper. No, you didn't miss anything important. I was just saying I can feel the resist inside getting crinkly. And actually this is a little dress that a woman 4 foot 1 inch tall gave me. For her it's like full length. Okay. God help me. Where is the centerpiece? I don't want to cut through the wrong side, you know? I think this is the bottom. Feels a little smoother here. Okay, I'm guessing this is the right side. If I guess wrong, I'm gonna be so pissed with myself for not marking this better. But the way I did the design, it just wouldn't look right if I clipped it on one of the sides. So here goes nothing. Here's the plastic. And let's see, we need something roundish. Yes, it is the right side. We are safe. Good. You have to rest. This job is killing you. Who has the most seniority there? Like if a layoff comes, how far down are you? Good. I would hope so. And you lose a day's pay, don't you? Or do you get a day of sick pay? Are they good with that? Okay, let's see how much, oh boy, it really did curl up. How much it shrunk so far. We're getting there. Okay, you can't rub these fancy fibers that I already put in. But it's pretty well felted, and now the thing is I've got to turn it inside out and start working on the opening of the vessel. You have 90 hours of sick time coming to you? Good. This is a vessel for my son. It's hard to turn inside out and still. It really bulked up nicely. Like a bowl made out of felt. I need to get a bag for my clothespins. Oh, that's not good. If they're black, that means they're moldy. Soak them in bleach before you use them again. You don't need to be putting mold on your clothes or bringing them indoors. If you don't have bleach, then use straight peroxide. Right. Alright, I have to soak it, and then after I finish conditioning it, I can decide how big I want the opening to be and stuff it. Well, first I stuff it and then decide from there how much I want to open it up. Because I'd like them to be able to use it for something. It's almost like a beret. Oh my God, I could make a beret like that. I should look at my beret. I do have one. And it's got the little beanie thing sticking out the top. Making my own berets. Oh my God! I didn't even think of that. I don't know why. It's so obvious. Okay. That green viscose with the little blue ends. When this is dry, it'll look more like peacock feathers in color because the blue just moves into the green. Actually, that's what makes it green. But you'll see those subtle shades once it's dry. Right now everything, of course, is darker. All right. Make what for your mother? We'll have to talk about that, Gary. All right, let me go. I'm going to go get my beret and see if it's the size. Because I might have my template for my next hat right there. Which would be so groovy. Well, check it out. This is my French beret. And holy moly, it is the exact same size. Or close enough to exact. Except, of course, the opening has to be done differently. This was done with sewing. That's not authentic method, but oh my God. Now, I was not planning on doing hats, because when I think of felted hats, I always think of the big ones, like the fedoras, because that's what I always wore, and still wear. I forgot about the berets. I've always had a beret. Well, that's on the list of things to make, but I have another project after this that's going to be going with this, so that's my focus. Raspberry Beret, is that the name of a song? Well, after it's stuffed and stretched, it should look more like a flatter kind of vessel. And the one that's going to go with it, I want it to be taller. So I have to use a more of a rectangle for my template instead of a circle. But this is so cool that just by coincidence, I have something from my first handmade hat for myself. This. We will not lose this. This is a good one. Okay, that's why it's familiar. Well, I'll tell him at some point if he wants to wear it like a hat, I'll tell him what he has to do. That would be a really killer hat. I mean, nobody else would have a beret like that. That's what I like about making stuff for yourself. Like, it's original. I'm not a manufacturer, you know? I am an artist. Oh, that came out great. Look at that. All the tassels from the scarf. All right, I'm gonna go put this in the kitchen because it's gonna need to be soaked properly. I'm gonna put my beret out of the way because I'm not working on a beret today. Let me go put my hair up. It's starting to irritate me now that it's dry. Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? Give me a second. Okay, so let me gather the pieces for the companion vessel because we need the right colors, and I want something to make them match, so we're going to use this. Oh man, that would be cool if I could put that fringe all the way around it. Now once this is cut, it is very delicate because they start to unwind themselves, the strings. They're synthetic and they don't have a whole lot holding themselves together. See what I mean? Okay, we don't want it all like that. I mean, I don't want an overuse of it. Just enough so if it's next to the one we just finished, it'll look like a companion piece. Red, blue, and purple. So first, let me get the blue straight because that's going to be the primary color here. And we are going to use this. This is actually more like the periwinkle. There's not enough of this. We can't do that. Oh, the aqua. That is a gorgeous blue. Okay, we'll use that. But I'm going to need more than that. With this. Not enough. It's a good color. Actually, that's a better color. We're going to need a couple ounces. Well, I don't really want to use as much of this because we've got our two other really splendid colors to work in. Now, one of them is red. Red is a tricky color to work with. I like that blue together. Okay, I must also add some of that for our highlights. Okay, just gonna make sure I've got it all together. And yummy, yummy. Ah, wait a second, we have the purple right here, the right one. Yeah, we'll just leave this whole thing out. Unwind, dear, unwind. Thank y'all. Alright, now I'm going to be mixing red with this. And that is tricky. Because red's a hard color to match. And it's not just the right one. It throws everything off. So let's see what we have here. We have some red that would work for highlights. It's not too warm. I've got a chili red, which is really nice. Now I am just going to do a quick test and make sure this is not synthetic. It feels like synthetic. I'll know in a second. Because wool will not right up in your fingers, and synthetic will just pop back into its water resistant self. And that crap is synthetic. Useless. Okay, I'm going to mark it, and I'm going to donate it. I do not need a pound of fake wool, but it's fine for needle felting. Okay, so we are left with, oh God, that's gorgeous, but that's not going to work with the burgundy. All right, another option would be the silk. What do we have in red silk? What do I have in red anything here? I have something, the wool. I thought I had some red specialty stuff. Apparently not. Okay, tweezers. Glasses on my way. Tweezers, there we are. Okay, since they are going to be companions, I want some of the gold. Something to put this in as I separate those threads. Okay, here's purple, that's all right. I'm sure we've got some more in here. I think I remember seeing something impressive gold. Come on. Look at that. Not there. Now this is a bit different. There is a slight greenish cast to this one. It's kind of common with golds, of course. Even mixed with some green here on purpose. Now I've got some gold, of course, that I can use. It's different, but it's heavier and it's kind of more attention getting than I want it to be because it is so thick and vibrant. Okay, we've got some gold. Put this over here for the moment and stay. Alright, what I need now is some red. If there's a good red in here. And I think we got some. Oh, I just realized I'm not even on camera. Wait, let me sit down again. Which my back wants me to do anyway. Alright. Ouch. Alright. We're going to be going with a different shape, but I'm going to have to cut another piece of, well, to make a template. The ones I already have are too small, and by the time they're fully felted with this kind of stuff, it's going to be little, very little. Oh, that's nice. Purple there because it works anyway. Alright, that'll be great in contrast with the purple. Okay. And here, I might not need any of this, but I'll have it on hand in case I feel inspired. Alright, let's stuff this on back. I don't know what I'm making with this silk thread, but it'll be nice. Okie dokie. You may sit there for now. And I am going to be over here for a second. I need to get a piece of mylar to cut. But this time I know where it is. Oh. I grabbed the wrong thing. Well, we saw what happened, how much the hat shrunk. Now it's funny, you know, because it's wool, it holds a lot of water. And while it is wet, it's heavy. And so I'll get a kick out of after it's all dry, how it becomes like weightless. Now I have looked up what you use to make it stiff, and that's Gailyn's fabric stiffener or fabric draping fluid. And I've seen people are using it at 50% strength. with water and brushing it on. They make a spray too. So it's some, you know, if I had room to do sculptural stuff, I mean, like, I would go nuts with that. Fabric draping, definitely. But the same reason I don't have a mannequin, so I can build a vest or an outfit together. Just don't have room. And the mannequins are affordable, really. On Temu, anyway, I saw them for like $89. And when you consider, you know, you're going to use it to create your wardrobe, that's not a bad investment. We're going to make this one stand. Only problem is, it's also going to be more on the flat side, like my little vase. Maybe I should do it the way I did my purse, around a piece of styrofoam. Stay there. Okay, so I made my first piece, my pocketbook, with a flap, with this. That was how far it came up, and then that was for the flap. In this case, I would just be doing it like that, up to that height, and just leave it wild on the top. So I think that's what we're going to do, because otherwise it's going to be hard to make it stand up. It needs to have a little bit more depth, and I don't think I can achieve it with this. So here we go, I think. And again, we have to put everything down first. The draping around the side is the tricky bit. But it looks so cool when it's done. Now when this is done, it's going to be probably about this wide and that tall. So it's not going to be huge, even though we're working it like it's huge. Starts off big, right? Okay, so we've got our blue right here. We've got our gold. And the more of this, the more textured it's going to be. We want to make sure we get some of that red in there. don't like it crossing the blue as much because I can't help but think Flag Day. I think we will use some of this. It's too fun not to. Now you're going to have a star right there. We have to have some for the other side, so we can't get too carried away. I do want the red to be obvious, but also subtle. Now, I have only used this a couple of times. This stuff is what happens when you're making your yarn. All of the combing creates texture. Little balls, nips they're called. And but just sometimes drop them randomly. Now, I haven't put a bunch of them on, so I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but this is an adventure and I wanted something that's completely original. It's hard to keep tea warm in air conditioning season. Okay, so let's start laying it out. This black line is what we're calling the top of it. Now, unlike the other vessel, I won't have to cut a hole in it because this whole top is going to be the hole, the opening. Like a handbag without a top. I don't think this is merino wool. It's got a kind of a shorter staple. I am not familiar enough with the different wools. So I'm looking forward to going to some farms and talking with some people there. Their wool, their sheep. But I'm not a vegetarian, and I really don't like getting too friendly with my food. You don't want to awaken that part of them if they're going to be et. This is going to get trickier because obviously the wetting down on top of the styrofoam. We do have a bit of a mess when we do this with a three-dimensional object, only because I'm not in the same room with a sink. Okay, now we've got all this stuff extra dangling. Let's just set that aside for the moment, because I'm going to have to move this. Yeah. Now, frankly, I'm amazed that my first two purses came out as nicely as they did using a three-dimensional object, because I didn't know you could make purses with a flat template. But then I noticed also they don't hold a lot. And the styrofoam worked really well. You just have to, felt on top and around, and so yeah, it's a little bit more maneuvering, but it comes out so good if you're careful and take your time. Remember, your stuff has to go all the way around the edges. Okay, so layer number 1. And now layer number 2. Now this time we're going all the way over the side. Don't fold. since this is going to be the kind of a most worked area, I want it to be very strong. So I'm just going to kind of build up the corner a little bit better. Okay, come back to you. And we're mixing up the blues. I don't have enough of one light blue to do the whole project, so we're compromising by layering them, and they go nicely together, so it's not bad. With the semi-doubling. I'm hoping if I do this the way I'm seeing it in my head, I'll be able to put a light inside it. Like I'm going to keep the colors in the bottom where a light would sit, lighter shades to let the maximum amount of light through. Oops, sorry. Ahai, unajilaya. Big poof here. Break that up. Take a look from above. do the top again. I need you for the other side. You know what? I don't think this is going to be stiff enough. I'm going to pull in some white that I know will felt like crazy. All right. It is your turn again. This stuff felts like nuts. You won't believe it. Well, of course you will. I'm telling you it does. Now what we're looking at is the inside of the vessel, so all of the pattern is hidden in the first layer. Now this felt so thickly, it will give us some structure, which obviously we're going to need. I want it to stand up. And I believe we won't have a problem with this. It's amazing how something so soft and gentle can become really thick and stiff and perfect for sculpture. And I have plenty of this now, at least for now. Enough to get me to the farm where I can buy a larger quantity of local wool. Now, our friend Miriam, who visited, she wondered why I don't dye my own wool. And I did look into some of that a long time ago, doing my own dyeing when I was, you know, on the farm and everything was au naturel. I didn't really have much cause for dyeing things, but I did study enough of it to go, this is not so hard, but it's also kind of takes up room that I don't have. It's a process, like every other thing you want to do. So, like every other thing you want to do in a handicraft thing, it's not so much hard, it's just learning the ropes and practicing. And unfortunately also having a lot of room to do your dyeing and draping and all the stuff you need to do with wool when you dye it. Okay, we have this really fluffy encasement here, and I am going to have to get a larger piece of plastic now because this is going to be messy. And where did I just put that big piece of plastic? I have a better idea. I have a brand new length of stuff and it has no seams in it, so I don't have to worry about leakage as much. Two feet wide and 6 feet long. So let me just carve off a hunk for me today. We're going to want this to be that big. Now let me roll up the main piece and bring it into a sink area. There. Okay. That's so funny. It feels like it's got bubbles on both sides. Look over there and dry. Well, I figure out how to do this. Now, once it starts to get wet, it'll be under better control. To make sure nothing shifts underneath it, I must use the magic net. The magic net. There it is. Clearly, I was thinking big projects when I cut this net. And to make sure I'm not dripping, I'm going to, oops, as my little tower, my Jenga tower of these sheets falls to the floor with a soft push. Collard greens. When was the last time I had them? I love collard greens, but it's been at least a few years. I will be visiting a grocery store, possibly tomorrow morning, that might have some. But tomorrow morning, come in Wednesday. Today's Tuesday? Oh God, okay, I'm getting some veg delivered tomorrow, so that'll be tomorrow morning. What the hell day is it? Oh my God. It's Tuesday. Okay. Tomorrow morning, I will be getting some veg. Tomorrow afternoon, I'll be watching the final installment of Good Omens with my son. But if the timing works out, my friend will take me to the store after one delivery and before the movie. We'll see how it works out tomorrow. I hate depending on people for my groceries, and this week I ran into running out too much, and now we're going to have a wheat shortage for the next year and a half, so if you like anything wheat, you better buy it. When was the last time you had collards? Cooked with the neck bone. I treated mine like a green vegetable that I didn't want to overcook. When I moved down south, I went to a restaurant where it was supposed to be old-timey Southern cooking, nothing fancy, which was in fact the name of the restaurant. And although they had good food and chocolate cake, it made life worth living. The collards were cooked to a mush with grease and pork bits, and I felt grossed out instead of appetized by it. I cook it like I boil the water, and while it's boiling, I stick in individual leaves and cook them just until tender and pull them out. And at that point, they're bingeable, so you can actually use them to roll up stuff, you know, like stuffed cabbage, only you can use collards instead of cabbage. They're so healthy for you. But like I said, I don't like them when they're overcooked. That is the old Southern way. They cooked it as if it was poke, which has to be cooked like crazy. Did you ever have poke salad? You know, now I can't remember if I don't think I had to grow collards because my neighbors did. It was so cheap locally because everybody was growing them. I didn't have to. We did a lot of that, you know, out in the country. You don't grow everything, nobody can, but like a couple of years we had sweet potatoes, like 3 acres planted of sweet potatoes. And That was for the entire neighborhood. It was for anybody who wanted to come by with a bushel basket and help pull some. Or pick your own, help yourself. Not gonna be much of that this year. They say if you eat greens every day before the rest of the meal, you'll live forever. Okay, I can feel the little lumps under there that we want for achieving a lot of texture. And I'm gonna need more water. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sit here this long. How long have I been on? An hour and a half? I'm starting to feel a little pain in my neck. Yeah, I gotta get some more water. Never had poke? Me neither. I knew it was one of the wild foods and we grew plenty, you know, that's ubiquitous in the South. But I was so scared of it. Especially because, like, when the people were coming back, our neighbors were coming back from the cities to settle on the farm, they wouldn't touch it. They would talk about having it as a kid, but they would not do it themselves. It's like, well, if it was so good, then why aren't you making it now? It's free. They all do, right? Oh, I'm sorry. But try to connect with her, you know, because her body's gone, but you can still connect with her, just like I do with my dad. I can't say I miss my dad anymore because he's always there if I want him. Okay, I have to boil some water. It's going to take a minute. Let's take a few minutes break. Let me see what else is over here. Gary sent a photo. Oh! Why? Why does he wear berets at Cannes? Because it's a French hat? Because he was balding? He looked good with glasses, didn't he? Well, that doesn't look very much like him, but... yeah, cute. Oh, thanks, honey. Don't worry, it's gonna be just an envelope. That's the joy. I can fold it in flat and send it to you, and it's not going to cost me a fortune. And in fact, yours I might be able to just put right in the mailbox without having to go to the post office, whereas when I have to use the bubble wrap, like what I'm going to do with these, that's going to be a post office trip, which is harder on me because, like I said, without a car, I mean, there's actually a post office. Yeah, it's about a 10-minute drive, at least 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes. But if I go there, I can, it's everything street level. You park, you go around, you go in the post office. In my town, it's 2 very long marble flights of stairs, like I'm going to City Hall. As a matter of fact, it looks like City Hall, but it's a post office. All right, let me go get that water going. Oh, what am I dropping now? Oh, 988. My friend sent this, got this for me. Remind people, don't give up. If you get bummed out, well, read it backwards. It's 988. No matter what, mental health problem, if you're feeling suicidal, if you're strung out on drugs, or you took too much of a drug, please call 998, press the appropriate number, and speak to a real human who wants to help. I don't have a place to really display that. Okay, let me go get the water going because it's purified water I use. All right, we're going to call a 5-minute break. I'll type it in. I'll turn off the microphone so you don't have to sit here listening to the whatchamacallit. 5-minute station break. Where is the mousey? Okay, I'll put a song on.
I woke up feeling like I really don't belong. I can't explain it. When I close my eyes, I see a strange reality. Am I dreaming or on the edge of remembering? up feeling like you really don't belong. You can't explain it, but when you close your eyes you see familiarity. Are you dreaming or on the edge of remembering? Who will you be tomorrow? And where are you today?
Thank you for waiting. Oh, and I left the water in there.
Okay.
It's hotter than I want to use, but we gotta get it cooled down sometime. so much to do. Are you waving hello or saying goodbye?
Hello.
It's a little cooler over here because the AC is here, so the water should cool down fairly quickly. And I can continue with the process. I try not to forget what I did. Too much time goes between pieces. That's too hot. If I put hot water on this, it'll just shock it, and not in a good way. So we'll just go ahead and continue felting on this side while we wait for that to cool down a little bit, since it has to be done no matter what, right? Especially the corners. You need them for strength. And when you first start this process, it's very gentle. You're basically just talking to the wool, trying to coax it into working with its friends. Introduce them. Yes, I'm your friend. Your woolly friend. Now, calm down. Just stay there on the template, on the mold in this case. Right now it just looks like pillows of wool. Yeah. How should I answer this one? Please text me. There we go. Thank you for the thumbs up, my friends. I appreciate it. want these to start out in one direction because as it's felted, they're going to move anyway. But I'd like it to have a general direction so it has a feel to it. Excuse me.
Hello. How was you? Yeah, somebody let me in as I was dialing.
Okay. It was a prescription delivery. Okay, back to where was I? There we go. So it's 92 out there. My delivery person was sweating appropriately. I'm glad that I made my food delivery for tomorrow morning early. I took their first opening, which is 9 a.m. Hey, because of the heat, I would have made it 6 a.m. if they had it. I'd be up for them. I hate asking anybody to do anything I'm not willing to do. Oh, wait a second. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Distractions. See, I can't be distracted when I'm doing things like this. No, stay there, working. I'm trying to give a watery feel to this. fussy, fussy, fussy. We've got some red. Let's separate you a little more. It's amazing how fine these threads are. But they wove beautiful silk saris at one point. That's what they come from. Now, we did not use any viscose on the other side, so I don't think I'll do it on this side either. But is there any more gold loose? Oops, sorry about that. I hope that's not a painful sound when I hit the mic. It does have a mic condom on. Dust from all the wool and silk. Alright, now you've got to go back the way you were. That was a silly thing for me to do. But we'll correct for it. God. Please text me. Okay. I don't even know if they're getting those messages or not, but I'm not expecting any calls. Hello. Oh yeah, they all are. That's why you've got to mind your own business as much as possible. Hello. Hi. So did you find out what happened with those ambulances? Was that part of the narrative? Does your neighbor across the hall from you any closer to being moved to the first floor and out of your face? Text shark. Did you get the ring? He must be writing. There's been a lot going on there. Oh. You'd think people would figure that one out early. Yeah, you don't even have to smoke any weed to have that kind of hypertensive experience. I used to do that all the time, and I was not a stoner. I learned I have to get up slowly, give my blood pressure a chance to regulate itself. Yeah, don't interrupt her conversation. We just got a memo today reiterating just the basic rules, like how to use the the security code to get in, all of that. Parking for guests, parking for residents, like, I know the rules, so somebody must have been knowing the rules but not adhering to the rules. I know it's the first thing they do when they want to chastise somebody, but they don't want to be rude about it, is they send a memo to everybody. That way no one feels singled out. Like our resident senior advisor, she's very sensitive. She gets allergy attacks really, really bad. And she's really allergic and sensitive to tobacco smoke, which of course is illegal in this apartment building. No one is supposed to smoke anything in this building. No fire, no things that can be lit. But you can smoke cigarettes outside. But on our floor, and I think on pretty much every floor I've been on, there's been someone who's been smoking inside, and it's an unmistakable, overwhelming smell. Hello, yes? Now, as an ex-smoker, I never expected to come to be hateful about it. I don't turn anybody in for smoking, but it makes me sick now. And I thought that was a really strange response, because I did not quit smoking because I didn't like it. I always loved tobacco. I've got the gene that makes me love tobacco and booze. I can't do either. But, yeah, now the smell of tobacco smoke on anybody, it's like literally a nauseating smell. I never expected that, and I hate it, because I get people here that I'd love to stand and talk with, and they smoke, and they reek so bad. I start to feel like, okay, I'm gonna be sick. I really don't want that kind of a response to these people. But when poor Alice comes upstairs to put these memos on everybody's doors, she's got to smell it, and she is red-eyed and miserable by the time she's done with that little job. So I feel for people. I'm not that sensitive. I'm just like, ugh. But I haven't had any, like, well, once I did use my asthma inhaler after walking down the hall. But most of the time, I don't have that kind of a severe reaction like she does. But she never turns anybody in either. Okay, drama. I got a lady on my floor and her boyfriend from the other building. I guess the guy's pretty bad, doesn't want to talk to any other men, even me. Ah, ha ha, I told ya. Stay away from those people. Jealous boyfriends. They get a little booze in them, and then they become complete idiots. Yeah, exactly, yes. I don't touch it anymore, but you know exactly what I mean. Like I said, I feel bad because I've got friends that still smoke, but I can't be near them when they're smoking. Okay, I'm gonna have to wet down before I add any more, so let's see where we're at. So what happened? Did he have a fight with the possessive boyfriend? Go at it with somebody, or? It's a stupid thing to get possessive with a woman. I mean, there are a few that are flattered by it, but those are the ones with, you know, they got problems. Oh, it's still too hot. Damn. Alright, let me get some room temperature to add to that. Also, when a guy is so possessive, it's not possessive, it's insecure. Because if somebody cares about you, you don't have to worry about them. They're not going to cheat on you. I was mad about my husband. And even when I was mad at my husband, I never considered cheating. Keep my extra purified water in here. I'm getting like a feedback sound. Might be my fan, my air conditioner. Ugh. I don't know what's going on. Okay, yes. I don't know. What about you? Do you feel like you're a jealous person? Do you have to control other people's behaviors for you to be happy? See, Glenn was not jealous over me. Glenn was a narcissist, and our narcissists have to have complete control over their partner. And I did not even know that at first because I was very happy living isolated. And Adrienne is breaking out outside now. Oh my. People get themselves all riled up. Being jealous is saying, I don't trust you. That's all it is. I don't trust you because I don't trust me. Maybe they have guilt. They're not a good enough boyfriend to keep their girlfriend, so they figure everybody's a threat. But as a female, whenever I exhibited that kind of behavior, that was the end of the relationship. At first, not realizing what it was, I did have an Alabama man, and he was a jealous asshole. But I didn't catch on right away, of course, because I was in love. But then he showed his true colors. Insecure and all that. Why, yes. Doc is in Hawaii, and I am in the East Coast between New York and Boston. Where are you? Us guys, Doc. And Gary, if Gary's here, Gary is Mr. Gary, or Red Neon is also in America. We're all over the country. And I love it when we're all over the world. Very careful not to move all the decorations hiding under the wool. This is just the first layer, so there's nothing knitting together yet. I have to put the next layer on, but I wanted to get something down so I can turn this over and do the sides. Stay down. You too. Is Finland the 51st American state? Don't even joke. And no. You know better, Doc. Doc's in Hawaii, the 50th state. Finland, awesome. One of the happiest countries on the planet. That's great news, Gary, because the less you smoke, the better. Obviously. Listen, I didn't quit because I stopped liking tobacco. I quit because it was bad and expensive. Very expensive. Who's Superman? I was grateful to quit. Oh, well, welcome back, Gary. Finland looks like a wonderful place to live, and it's actually a place I would want to visit if I was capable of travel like that. The argument's still going on. Do you think she's in danger? Yeah, I'd rather be alone than have to deal with that shit. I like my solitude and peace. There's an amusing reference to Finland in the movie Earth Girls Are Easy. A musical comedy. Well, it's actually not a musical, but it's got music in it. Well, I guess it is a musical then. The two stars were actually married at the time they made it. A couple of geniuses. Okay, I see we're going to run into some problems here with my blue. Now the final coat here will be white for strength, but we need to make sure all of this is covered with blue first. And I don't think I have enough. This is why it's important to buy more than you think you're going to need. Now, I did not buy any of this light blue. I did not know I was going to need it. All of this has come from collections of different colored wool. Oh no, I guess one of them, I got periwinkle. Maybe I can do that. Maybe we're just going to do the white. Nope, I don't have any of it left. What do we have? Got some periwinkle. I've got a scrap heap here. No, it's too green. It's periwinkle. Well, you know what? Unfortunately, he likes purple. And this is more the underlayer. Okay, and now purple and white. You know, that was actually my school colors. 1 year, 2 years. When I started going to schools, public schools have their own thing. Every public school has its own little, like, just named after somebody. And I went to a school called the William H. Holmes School, and we were so well trained to state every morning when we pledged allegiance to the flag, we also pledged our loyalty to the school. It was elementary school. And I remember thinking, I came from New York before going to that school, where we didn't do that. But I still remember it after all of these years. But what I liked about that school the most, the colors. Purple and white. I was a very picky child. I did not like bright colors like my fellow students. I liked muted colors. And anything that was too bright seemed, I don't know, garish to me. So purple and white worked. It was like there was no clashing. And then I got to a high school where my colors were green and white. And I loved that too, because again, clean colors, just green and white. But I had two other schools that were maroon and gold and maroon and, or gold, yeah, maroon and gold and navy and gold. They were so dark and depressing looking, like military academy. But my first one with the depressing colors, I loved that school. And I was actually the last graduating class from it. I Trapig in junior high school. One of the most beautiful schools ever built. They tore it down to make room to broaden the road. It was such a sad day to see a beautiful building with all hand-hewn wooden staircases and banisters, and it was just a stunning old building. It was sad to see it go. Residents know both of the guys arguing. Of course, you all live in the same two buildings. Of course everybody knows each other. And you're on an island. The odds of knowing each other are kind of high to start with, don't you think? I mean, I know you don't know everybody, But if you live in a neighborhood, you're gonna know faces after a while. You go to the same stores, you're gonna know those faces. I lived in a city and that worked for me. Oh, that's terrible. Why did it get flattened? Pecan orchard? Glenn's grandpa had a couple of pecan trees that produced a lot of pecans over the year. But if you wanted them, you had to go to visit him in Arkansas. We didn't. It was even... What? What's going on? I know that sound because we had a chip mill come in North Carolina that we tried to keep out, and they started sawing down the woods all over the place. But you don't usually hear that. How come they're doing that? Are they infected? This is a bad time to lose pecans. The last thing we want to do is lose any food crops. Oh God, I hope it's not a data center, in which case you may as well sell and get the hell out of there because it will poison you. And you won't be able to afford to live there with the electric and water problems. That's a horrible thing that they would destroy a pecan tree. Matter of fact, usually what they do is they harvest the wood because pecan is an expensive wood. I mean, I'd hate to think it's completely lost. Now, yes, it must be late for you, yes? For us, it's the afternoon. For Maui or Doc, it's still morning, isn't it, Doc? Yes, it is. So they're having an argument in the morning. That's interesting. All right. Let's hope for the best. I gotta start wetting and flipping. Let's see what's being said. I don't think your cat agrees with you right now, and they need fresh water because they're not next to the ocean. And they can't use salt water because they're talking about keeping computers cool. But the tech AI the bubble is broken, and they're realizing it's not going to be as useful or as desired as they planned on it being. But they're still going ahead with their plans to surveil us, which is a global thing. That's where Musk is putting out all of these, he's planning on having 1 million satellites, like floating data centers in our atmosphere. The reason that Trump ordered our climate guard satellite to be destroyed was, first of all, because Musk and all of the tech bros want that, because their plans of what they're going to put in space is going to put our atmosphere in serious risk. It's going to affect our ozone layer, which is a global problem. The globe needs to act and stop this from happening, because Elon Musk is just a freaking maniac and doesn't care. He's figuring at some point he's just going to put himself in hibernation and go to Mars and get away from everything he's done here. This is just a place to be mined for resources. So that mindset is going to get a lot of people voted out. Anybody supporting a data center now is going to get voted out, because people are saying we don't want it and they're going ahead with it anyway. And you can't keep doing that. People do not like it, and they get even. Okay, all the layers of wool are down now, although it looks like where I'm seeing blue, I may have to add some white. But we have to get it started so that I can have this whole thing engulfed in the wool. Yep. Oh yeah. And I've been warning about this for years, because Texas, and now other people are trying to follow this, they have a new form of slavery they want to enact, which is, in Texas they built a building, a big brick prison-like building, to be a group foster home for all the kids they take away from people that they deem too poor to support their own children. So they've given themselves the right to go grab these kids and put them in that foster home. And then we've got maniacs like RFK Jr., who believes all black children are being drugged with ADD drugs, and now they all need to be taken away from their parents and put on a farm. What does that sound like? Yeah, we're going to go pick up all those little black kids and put them on a farm so they can get healthy, work outdoors. Okay, everybody see the picture here? Fascism 202. How to make you a slave. Oh, and also, if you're in a detention center, they have the right to put you to work. They already have done that. They rent people out at a fraction of the minimum wage to places like a McDonald's. So what they're doing also in monitoring all of our finances, because they have our bank accounts now, you know, and our social security numbers and our IRS, all that stuff, they have it. They took it. And that's how they're going to watch you and decide, oh, you aren't earning enough, or they're going to look for ways to put you behind bars to work for the tech bros. But even that is like, and do what? There won't be anything except, well, like what the immigrants do, farms. Because everything else they're trying to have here is automated. That's why Bezos went and fired so many people from Amazon so he could put his money into AI. So I'm really glad it's backfiring. They're not going to see the profits they thought with it, but that doesn't mean they're not going to profit mightily at our expense. You've got to stay aware of that, not to be afraid, but you need to know what's going on, so if there's anything happening in your town, you can show up. One of the things that happens with the data centers, and you've got to be vocal about it, is you've got to let your representatives know that you're not going to allow that in your neighborhood. You don't want it. You don't want your taxes going to it, etc., etc. You don't want your electric bills going up because of it, or a scarcity of water. We don't have water in a lot of this country, and the water's running out. Have you heard about Mexico City? Mexico City is sinking every year and running dry because it's been sitting on top of an aquifer that they've been using for their water, of course. But as it's being pumped dry and the water's not returning, the city is sinking. And it's not the only place on the planet that this is happening to. Okay, we're going to need some fill-in right here. I saw your shorts, it is right here. Yarn for, hi Yarn, oh and thank you. You love yarn. No, he's just a bad human. What I'm making is a vessel. I'm using the same mold that I used to make a pocketbook for myself. Let me show you what I finished today. It's actually soaking, but I'll go get it because I'm really happy with it so far. As it turns out, this is going to be a perfect pattern for me to make a beret for myself. It hasn't soaked in the vinegar yet. I just am washing the soap out. So there's the bottom of it. And after I get everything, soaked with some vinegar water, I will stuff it with towels and make it rounder. I have a miniature version of this that I made first, and it was like, oh my goodness, I love this. I have to make a bigger one. So this is going to be a companion to this with a slightly different color palette, but some of this so that it's clear that they're related. Oh, crochet. Oh, I'll have to go and sub. Hold on, let me see if I can do that while I'm still here. No, I can't. Alright, I'm going to have to come back and after I finish this and go to your channel. See, I cannot crochet anything but a straight single stitch and then double back on it. I am terrible, and even worse at knitting. So when I discovered wet felting, I flipped out. I can't sew either. because I've always wanted to make something I can wear, and I finally can. Oh, thank you, Gary. I am having a blast, but now that I know that the template I made for this is just the exact right size to make myself a beret. So I'm going to, not today, I've got a few projects to finish up first, but this is a piece of my scarf that I can't wear because it catches on everything, so I decided to turn it into embellishments for my other projects. So, yeah, this migrated a little bit. I love the way how the silk and all that stuff just makes it all pucker up. So let me put this back in the sink because otherwise I'm just going to start dripping here. What do you like to crochet and knit? Do you do, well, I'm sure you do everything, but do you, like I have a neighbor who's into making dolls and a lot of three-dimensional things that I would never get into. But it's a lot of work and it's cool what she does, but I don't like those kinds of things hanging around because they're just dust collectors. As an old lady, I have too much stuff in my apartment anyway. Even this stuff, I love the vessels, but they're they take up room. So I use them like night lights, which really comes out cool. Like San Francisco. Oh, nice meeting you too. So where are you located? Oh, you gotta go? Okay, I will sub to your channel. Thanks for coming by and subbing. I will look for you. Now this white wool really bulks up. It's got a really long staple like a merino, but it is more, it's a coarser wool. It's used for filler. It's what will help give this a stiffness, and it'll help things pucker up. As we fill a syringe with warm water, we need to get through this so I can turn it over and start doing the sides and get them to stick. All the design goes down first, and then the wool gets put on top of it. So you have to be real gentle until everything is set. So the first is the fun of putting all the water in, but then comes the challenge of getting it all out. Don't. can feel the weight of the water. Because there it is. This side has to get curled up. Let's see. So we've got one side going down and one side going up. And this gets tricky because if they don't meet properly, it won't felt properly. Luckily, since I'm going for a lot of texture in this, it's not like when I made my purse, which I wanted to be very smooth except for the decorations. This I want lumpy pretty much everywhere. Is it? I got my free slice of cake for your birthday. That's right. How did everything go yesterday? Aside from, you know, the neighbors being neighbors. Did anybody in the building know it was your birthday? Or were you careful to keep that to yourself so that Gladys Kravitz didn't pay you a visit? Okay, we now have plenty of water here. This is starting to run amok. Too much water makes the hair not adhere. So let's get a little squeezed out. And I need to get it on that side. And then we're going to need it on this side. I've got so much right now on this, I can probably suck it up in here. Why, yes I can, and it's got a little soap in it too, so good. Now the wool is much heavier while wet. Let's see what we can do to make this bottom better. Well, we had a good time. And you did what you said you were going to do. You got yourself that strawberry frozen yogurt. Okay, where's my soap? Oops. bottom here right now is a mess. I will have to redo that. Because we've got the beautiful blues and purples from this side trying to come up. And getting lost. There we go. Now, I'm going to fold you over like a little package. Thank goodness this is the inside. And we're just going to keep you out there. Let you do that by yourself. We'll have some wet felted pre-felt. There. This wet stuff, look at that. Felts up really fast. And that's what we want to see here. Now, I know you can't see anything yet, but I need to suck up some of this excess water. We've got a puddle going here. Sounds yummy. There's a lot of water. This is better than using a little sponge over and over. Because the soapy water is important to the project. See this fold here? That's what I did not want. But we are going to have some of this. I'm hoping what it'll do is help everything stand up better. And this definitely is wrong. Let's get this right there. Right there. And I gotta get some fresh wool on this side. It's looking unhappy right along this side. Now we need a little more. Now it looks like I already made a spill, so let me get my towel on the floor where it rolled off this and made a nice puddle for me. Now this is why I don't usually work on large things, because, well, I don't have a large space. Oh, that was the wrong way. Fortunately, I have other stuff down to catch water. Damn. Like this big towel. Fix this before we end up with another puddle on the floor. Okay. My soap. Oops, sorry about that. Let's go pick up some more of the water. I just got my drink your water signal. Okay. Oh yeah. I've been on for 3 hours. Oh my god. I can't believe how rich I am. Congratulations. Believe it or it won't happen. Behaving properly. Oh, because it's trying to bond with the net. Good going. Up there, up. You out that way. There. Now it looks like a pillow on the bottom. Not desirable. So we have some work to do there. Well, on the whole thing, obviously. Now I'm going to have to get some of this water out of the way. It'll never shrink. And we've got some stuff to work out over here. Because the sides can be a bitch. And where's another towel? Yeah, that's good absorbent one. if this does not work, I'm gonna have to order some more wool. Blue wool. Although I will wait until I get to the farm and see if they have it. Okay, good. I've soaked up a puddle. I'd rather soak it up here than on the floor. More soap. Okay, I'm going to move this to the sink because it's pretty wet. Okay, it's 4:41. You were right, it was 4:20 and I missed it. As I am getting hungry, and I don't know if I can stop where I'm at. I don't think so. I have to work this bottom and get that in there too. Alright, this is definitely gonna let loose some water. Half hour, I'm gonna make eggs, cheese, and grits. Kiss my grits. Have a great night. Is that vanilla with berries? Oh my goodness, a chantilly. You got a whole free cake? You got the whole cake, man. And that does sound good, doesn't it, Gary? Well, you all have a good night. It is the time for me to look into dinner. I'm just working the bottom of this. You took a sleeping pill? Oh my God. Okay. Don't try. You take a sleeping pill to go to sleep. It'd be silly to fight it. Alright, I am going to rewrap this with this. And then I'm going to wrap it up to keep it wet overnight. So look at that. Accidentally peeled that right off. We don't want that. haven't purchased a cake in a whole cake. No, I haven't purchased a whole cake in years. I usually just make one. I have purchased slices of Junior's cheesecake, the original authentic New York cheesecake. That's usually my birthday present to myself, a piece of cheesecake. Lunch out for a hot pastrami sandwich. Kind of thing you shouldn't eat all year, but so good. Sometimes you just have to give in. So I reserved that for my birthday or New Year's. Be happy today. Be happy right now. Or there will not be happy tomorrows. All right. We are wrapped. I will probably come back to this after dinner. I will not go online to do that. But we will see what happens with this tomorrow. I will probably be here for at least a little while, because you know I have to see how this turns out, and also it's not done. I have to keep working it. Fortunately, I like doing it, which is why I do it. So, is it really work? I will get everything organized. Oh, that wasn't, look at that. That was unexpected. All right, well, that'll keep it wet. It can't really evaporate its own styrofoam. Oh, I remember peeling it off, peeling my purse off this block. Took a little work. But it's going to be cool with this because this has to shrink and get rumply, where my purse I was trying to keep really smooth. So this will be a lot easier to take off the mold. So I'm going to put my excess wool away, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out. Remember to thumbs up.